Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Survived it.
Yes.
And a wonderful festival it was. A little bit of rain right before that parade on Saturday night, but maybe cooled things off just a little bit and seemed like a wonderful crowd out and about for this year's Jackson Apple Festival. Hope you got to get out and attend it and maybe enjoy some food. Did you get to go?
I did not. I mean, I did march in the parade, but I'm injured, so I didn't get to go with my grandkids, but my daughter took them.
Aha.
Because I do have 7 grandkids.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I bet they enjoyed it though. Well, we are here. It is Monday. We are happy to be here. And we have, of course, a special guest and friend here from Holzer. And we're going to be talking about a new thing that they have going on at Holzer here in Jackson, which is super duper duper cool. And first off, could you tell everybody who you are, please?
I'm Tammy Williams. I'm the Imaging Services Team Leader for Jackson Hospital, Jackson Clinic, and Jenkins Clinic.
Okay, very good. And Tammy is here to talk about low dose CT screening. And first off, could you say what CT screening is?
Low dose CT, which CT stands for computer tomography. So the X-ray the X-ray tube spins around the patient inside the housing, so the patient doesn't see that. But that's what the CT stands for. But low dose CT is a screening for the patient, so we can detect cancer before the patient has symptoms. Because most patients don't come for medical care until the cancer has progressed, when they start feeling the cancer inside their body.
I gotcha. And and of course, early detection is obviously key to
Yes.
a lot of different things, depending on not even depending, like for all cancers, want to catch it early. So CT scan is also known as what, like a CAT scan?
CAT scan, CT scan,
And there's no
computer tomography, but no one ever says that but us, the medical people. We always say CT.
Yeah, because that's a hard word to pronounce.
Yes. It's
And
even hard for
remember.
me sometimes. Say it too fast. But no, CT, CAT scan, it's the same thing.
But there's no kitty running around in there.
No.
But it's a fun joke to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The patients do it all the time.
So, okay. Well, how long have you been doing this kind of thing?
I've been in X-ray and CT for almost 30 years.
Well, how if you're only 29?
I know, right?
How does that happen?
I don't know. Time just flies.
It's the
We're having
craziest
fun.
thing. I just don't understand how when we're all 29 that we get to work for 30 years.
Well, I love what I do. I love taking care of people. So time flies when you're having fun. I love taking care of people.
Well, very good. And okay, so this low dose CT screening has been something that's been available in the Gallipolis location?
In Athens, yeah.
In Athens for some time, but new to Jackson.
Yes.
And when did you start doing this?
August 1st of this year, we started doing it, and we've been doing a lot of them. The exam itself, I I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but the exam itself is
Absolutely.
fairly easy for the patient. The process, after registration, we bring you back. We ask some medical questions, like your medical history, if you've had surgeries, if you've ever had cancer, if you've had cardiac stents. And these are questions we ask everybody, not just like a lot of patients get scared when you ask them questions about cancer.
They think you're like zoning in on something.
When you ask them about cardiac stents. But the reasoning for the cardiac stents is because calcifications can look like cardiac stents. So the radiologist needs to know if you've got stents in your heart. So it's important to know the patient's background, if they've got anything inside their body that they weren't born with, basically. So if you've had your gallbladder out, or if you've had a pacemaker, or all those things. That's why we ask all those questions. We're not trying to be nosy. We get that too. Why are you being so nosy? But
I would not think that in a million years.
But it's because we want to make sure that the doctor has all the information that we can possibly give them. So, but once the patient is screened and we ask all those questions, you have to sign a consent. All that is so that you understand it's a low-dose CT. Low-dose CT is not actually the full CAT scan that you can get if, let's say something's detected. Let's say if I'll use myself as an example. I get a low-dose CT and they see a nodule, a small nodule. So they're going to either suggest that I have a repeat in so many months or a repeat in a year, or they're going to suggest I get a full CT. And just like I said to you earlier, sometimes when someone gets a low-dose CT, their anxiety increases because of the fear of the unknown, and they're going to be told something about what's inside their body. But to me, it's important to screen and know ahead so that you can get ahead of it. They can take care of the whatever it may be, because a nodule can be nothing really. Sometimes it's just something they watch and it doesn't grow. A lot of us may have nodules and we don't even know.
Sure.
Every day. So once we do all the screening, we'll lay you down on this uncomfortable table. We'll try to get you comfortable, lay you down. You do have to raise your arms above your head. You're going to go into a donut-shaped machine. Only about 2 feet of your body is in there at once. You're going to go in and out of the machine. The machine's going to tell you when to hold your breath and when to breathe. And then the scan's going to take about 3 minutes. So all the other stuff I talked about takes way longer than the actual scan.
Yeah.
So if you're claustrophobic, we're going to talk you right through it, and you're going to be done before you even know it.
Okay. And I think that there are so many factors to why people won't come and get things done or come and even see their doctor. And most of it is anxiety about the unknown. I feel like, and like we were talking off the air, I saw a piece a month or so ago about like women that have been called back in after a mammogram or something are far less likely to go back the following year because because of the anxiety that they went through, whether it was negative or, whether it turned out to be nothing or whatever. We're all scared to hear something we don't want to hear. But the fact of the matter is, if there's something in there, it's not going to magically disappear.
Right.
And the easiest way to get going and start treating is to catch things early. Right. And I would assume that you would agree with that, right?
Yeah, I'll use my husband for an example, and he's probably not going to like that I say this, but he never wants to go to the doctor whenever there's something going on.
He's a boy. They're all that way.
Screening is important because you want to get ahead of it, and it's just like knowing your numbers, knowing your blood pressure, knowing your sugar, and all of those things. A lot of people don't want to know that. They think, well, I'm just 20 or 30. Why do I need to know that? It's important to know because genetics and all of those things, you need to know what your numbers are. And just the same thing with this. If you've, the criteria, if you are, you have to be between 50 and 80 years old, be a current smoker with a history of smoking 20 packs a year, which, once again, I'm going to use my husband for an example. He smokes at least 1 pack a day. And, let's say he smoked longer than this. I'm going to say 20 years. That's a lot of packs of cigarettes.
Yes, it is.
So if he goes to the doctor, his doctor is going to suggest that he has this done.
Yes.
Which he's already had it done.
Yes. Because he's a good boy. Actually, you told him you'd put a lump on his head if he didn't, right?
I didn't say that. But I will just say that
you were much more diplomatic about it.
He was convinced to get it done.
Yeah, okay. I like the way she put that. Did you hear that? She's so sweet.
I know he's listening to me. I got to be careful. Or if you're an ex-smoker who quit within the past 15 years. And honestly, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
That is a lot of people. And, you know, a lot of people don't get medical care because of the fear of the unknown of what's happening, or maybe they don't have medical insurance, or maybe they've got copays. But we do, if we do run the test through your insurance, has to be pre-certed. And if for some reason it's not covered, or if there's copays, we have grants that will cover it. So
okay, so you don't have an excuse.
No excuses. You just need to come and see me and all my team. My team's amazing, all of them, and they will all take great care of you.
See, listen to her. See, you want to go hang out with Tammy,
Yes.
right? So can you back up and talk a little bit about the difference between like a CT or a CAT scan and like an MRI and an X-ray?
Yes.
Like,
so
what are they used for? Like,
okay, so let's start with the chest x-ray. Most commonly when you go to the doctor, and like I said, most people don't even know they have anything in their chest until they start coughing or they don't feel good, and that's what makes them seek medical care.
Okay.
So most commonly they get a chest x-ray. Even if you go to an urgent care or if you go to the emergency room, they start out with...
That's the first step.
That's usually the first step. Now,
Okay.
sometimes in the ER, if the provider thinks, well, this patient needs a CAT scan, they'll go straight to the CAT scan.
Okay.
So a chest x-ray, equivalent between a chest x-ray and a low-dose CT, you have 12 chest x-rays is equivalent dose with low-dose CT. A chest x-ray is a very low dose. See what I'm saying? Like 12 chest x-rays is the dose that you will get with low-dose CT.
Of radiation.
Right, of radiation.
Okay, so does
So
that
that's
make
really
it
low
more
dose.
dangerous though, or?
No, I don't think it's dangerous. No, it's a very low dose. I mean,
Okay.
if you think about I'm about to scare everybody, but the radiation that you get from the ground, depending on where you live, I mean,
Well, we do live by the A plant.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Listen, you know, I mean, I think it's more important. Like, you got to outweigh the information that you're going to get from that. Like, if you go to let's say you go to urgent care.
Yeah.
And you're coughing and you don't feel good, you have a fever, they're going to be looking for probably pneumonia or bronchitis.
Sure.
So they're going to do a chest x-ray. If they see a suspicious area or they think something that doesn't just look right, they're going to suggest you have a full CT of the chest.
Okay.
So
what does the CT show that the X-ray doesn't show?
So a chest x-ray to me, is two-dimensional. So it's like taking a box and only looking at the front of the box, not looking at the components on the inside directly down from the top.
So it's just like taking a flat picture.
Yes, it's two-dimensional.
Okay.
A CT scan is like taking that box, pulling the top off, and looking at all the items individually on the inside.
Okay.
And you can see great detail of them. I mean, we don't actually just pick them up and take them out, but I mean, that's just exactly what we can see, three-dimensional of what you look like on the inside.
I see.
And then the difference between MRI and CT is MRI is a magnet. It's a closed tunnel. A CT is an x-ray machine. It's a fancy x-ray machine that looks like a donut. So the only like 1.5 feet of your body's in at a time.
So also for those of you like myself who literally psych themselves out from being claustrophobic, it's not the MRI is the one that like they put you in the tube and it's like, oh my God.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I am the worst patient you can ever have because I'm very claustrophobic.
Same.
So I've had CAT scans and I've had no issues.
Okay.
The contrast, we don't use contrast for the low dose CT, which is another good thing. No contrast. So it's just,
and that's like
you just have to lay there. It's a dye that
inject.
goes through your veins that makes you feel warm all over your body.
Ooh.
So you don't have to have any contrast. So that's what also makes it good because it gives so much information and you just really have to hold still and hold your breath when the machine tells you to.
Okay.
So an MRI is like a tube. But I'm going to tell you, I've had lots of MRIs and this one in Jackson over at the clinic. And I'm not really trying to pun them in this, but they're amazing over there. And they have a new machine that blows this cold air on your body. And you can ask them over there. I am so claustrophobic, and I can go in that without medicine. And that,
Really?
yeah, I don't have to take Benadryl or anything. I just
Okay.
had one Friday, and I did my MRI, and I went straight to work.
Nice.
No medication.
Okay. So it
So
helps your
patients
anxiety.
it helps your anxiety because it, for some reason, psychologically, it blows that cold air on you. It makes you feel like you're not enclosed. Now, did I open my eyes? No, I left my eyes closed. So, but all the technologists that work in CAT scan, they all are trained to keep the patients calm. We're there to get the best pictures we possibly can of you, to keep you calm, and to get you onto your path of good health.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, isn't it? The bottom line is to make sure that, we're finding out if there is something wrong. So, how does somebody get to this point where they do the low dose CT screening? Would it be that they like if you fit this criteria, is your doctor going to automatically send you to get this screening, or is it you have to have like some symptoms first, or how does that work?
If you fall into this criteria, your doctor can just order the low dose CT, and all of those orders go to our program coordinator Nicole Corinne.
Okay.
And then she goes through all the questions the patient may have. She goes through, make sure they fall under the criteria. She takes care of the pre-cert process and all of that. And then she will schedule the test on our schedule. And then each day we come in, let's say you're my 8 o'clock patient. There she is. She's here. She's here. We're going to take good pictures of you, and we're going to get you out of there really quick.
Okay. And you said that's the cool thing about this test is you're in and out in a hurry, and it takes longer to fill out the paperwork than it does to do the test.
Now, we do have emergency room patients, but we all try to get our outpatients in and out as quick as we possibly can. So, but I mean, as soon as you're there, we're going to see you on our screen. We get up and we take care of you.
Yeah, and the great thing about that is now this is available not only in Gallipolis and Athens, but also here in Jackson. Now, where is this located in Jackson?
At the hospital,
Okay.
Holzer Hospital off Burlington Road. We are actually the only CT scanner that Holzer has in Jackson. And as far as I know, I think we're the only CT scanner in Jackson. And we do outpatient CTs Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Okay. And if by chance you would, you have a family doctor or something that is not within the Holzer network, I assume that doesn't matter. They could send you to see Tammy as well. Right?
Yeah, they can call me or they can call Nicole. Everything is on our website on holzer.org. If you search low dose CT, it comes right up. It gives you all of Nicole's information, her phone number, which her phone number is 740-441-3905.
Yes.
And she will take good care of you. My mouth's getting dry.
We're choking her up over here. So, I would have to think that if you go to your family doctor, and what would be symptoms? I mean, not everybody that may have lung cancer fits within this criteria, right? I mean, obviously, if you fit within this criteria, you're at a higher risk.
Yes.
But there's people that have never smoked a day in their life and end up with lung cancer.
True.
You're like, what the heck? So, what are some of the things that you may be looking for, or that you may end up here that would send you that you don't fit within this criteria?
Well, I mean, when someone any CT test that we do, they're looking for anything that shouldn't be there. So if you end up going to your doctor and you have that concern, I don't know, because honestly, I'm the one who takes your pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one who helps schedule you. I'm the one who takes care of you and all of those things. Nicole is not here to answer that question, but I don't know if someone who doesn't have any of this criteria can have this test or not. I'd have to ask her. I really don't know.
Well, it would seem if you have, symptoms of, what would be like symptoms that people would be experiencing that they may end up with this test, like shortness of breath?
Well, I mean, most patients that have reached to the symptoms point will probably end up with a full CT, because that's, like I said earlier, when people seek medical care. They're
see.
usually coughing. I mean, hate to say this, but people cough up blood.
Yeah,
They may be short of breath.
I think that
all
might
the
be a
above.
reason for concern. Yes.
Well, you don't. I mean, I see it every day. I see people that wait too long. That's why screening is important. I see people wait too long.
Yeah, and it could have been
Prevented.
yeah.
And I have, like I said earlier, I have 7 grandchildren, and I want to be here for them.
Mm-hmm.
So screening is important for your family and for your own good health. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not necessarily just this, but
It's
all of the
everything.
screenings that
I
we're
mean,
supposed to be
I
doing.
mentioned it on the radio. You know, as a female, mammograms are important, and if you follow the criteria, you know what all that is. I'm high risk myself because my mother has had breast cancer, my grandmother, so I have to have all of those screenings done myself. And once again, that is important. Have I ever smoked? I have not. I haven't. I wouldn't. I don't fall under this category.
Sure.
But you know,
There's listen.
there's a lot of people that does.
There are a lot of folks that, especially in our area, that do fall in that, and that should be screened.
And you know, my husband, I use him as an example. He has smoked since he was a young kid, and he hasn't had, hasn't had issues, but he had the screening done, and thankfully he's okay. So, I mean, screening is important because you can incidentally find something, and it can be something small or it can be something big. That's why it's important that we screen you.
That's absolutely right. So listen to Tammy, do what she says, and come in and see her for this screening. And I think the cool thing about this is, like mammograms, there's help out there for you. There's assistance financially if need be.
Yes, there is. We have a grant that helps, and a lot of people, I forgot to say this, a lot of people don't have a doctor. So if you reach out to Nicole, she's going to help you find a doctor.
Yeah, and there are numerous. The great thing about Holzer. So what happened in Jackson? I think a lot of people, unless you were personally affected by it, you didn't understand. We had a lot of how do I say this judiciously? Old school family practitioners that kind of all retired at the same time, and a lot of people were without doctor. And they were panicked because I've been going to this person, since I was, 20 years old or whatever. And the great thing about Holzer is now you all have added so many different family practitioners that there's plenty to go around, and you don't have an excuse to not go and have your own family doctor.
Right. We actually have providers in Wellston at the Jenkins Clinic. We have providers at both locations here in Jackson, and we're going to have a clinic in Oak Hill pretty soon. So
what?
Was I supposed to not say that?
I don't know.
Susan Moore's going to be there.
Mason just fell off his chair over there.
Sorry.
No, he's just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but Susan, she works at Jenkins right now, but she's going to be at the clinic in Oak Hill.
Okay.
So there's a provider who can help you as well.
Yeah, and I personally, my family doctor is at the Jenkins clinic, and it's like 8 minutes from here or whatever. It's not like any big deal at all, and it just happens to be where she is. And and I think a lot of folks didn't even know Jenkins had a clinic.
No.
And it's up there.
And they do a lot up there. They do
lot.
labs, they do X-ray, they take care of you there. They do different types of procedures there, and it's just, I've worked in bigger hospitals, and I've worked in small clinics, and I've worked in small hospitals. And I like working in the small areas, not because it's less work, because we do a lot of work. It's just the fact that it's like family. And all of our patients in this community are like our family. So I'd much rather get my care in a small area than go to a big hospital and just become a number instead of being part of your family.
Sure, absolutely. And I would agree with that. And, we saw that during, this pandemic situation where people were, I felt like most people that I knew were taken care of immediately. If they had an issue or whatever, they were taken care of. You go to the big cities and, 3 weeks from now, we might be able to get you in. And that's like crazy to me. We're used to it's nice to have that small knit
And my
community here.
mom, I use her an example. She has cancer, and I'm not going to say the name of the hospital, but I took her north, and the wait for her to be seen was 3 days. So I had to bring her locally to our emergency room to get her to where she needed to go. Now, she did wait still, but she wasn't sitting in a chair in the lobby. She
For
was
3
taken care
days?
of. Yeah, I'm serious. It's sad because there's so many sick people. It's just, but I mean, that's just my personal experience with my
Right.
mother. That's just one person, one experience. But I would much rather be close to home than be a number.
Sure. And then the travel time, you don't have to drive. No, I mean, I
Right.
guess there's reasons why you would go
Yeah,
north. Like, I
yeah.
mean, specialties and all kind of stuff like that, but you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, we can do all the things that even the doctors from other areas need done. We can do all the, especially imaging. We can do most of your imaging right here in Jackson. You don't have to drive everywhere. We can do it right here. Now, there are some tests that we don't do that they do at the main, but most of the majority of the tests we do right here in Jackson.
And still, even if you have to go to the Gallup Police location, that's 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's better than
versus an
driving
hour and a half.
hour and a half,
or,
2 hours. Yep.
Whatever. Plus, if you need this stuff, a lot of times you just don't feel good and you don't want to drive or
Right.
travel that far.
Yeah, my mom was she's still like that. She just gets so sick when she drives so far.
Yeah.
Which I drive her. She doesn't drive. I drive her.
Yeah.
So
Maybe that says something for your driving.
I say that for her driving. We won't get into that story.
There's a reason why I'm driving her.
She's probably listening to me. I'm not going to get into that story. She drove me to the hospital when I had my daughter in Portsmouth. And if you know 139, 140.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Just needless to say, she about dumped me out of the vehicle.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Especially being in labor. Well, is there anything else while you're here that you would like to tell our viewers? Because, I think what you do is so very important, and we appreciate it that you're here and that this is available.
I mean, the low-dose CT is very important, and it's a great screening tool to keep, like I said earlier, keep people in good health, and that is so important. I know some people, like I said, when they're younger or even older, I'm going to use my husband as an example again. He's going to kill me, but he literally will just ignore and ignore and ignore until it's a big problem. Mm-hmm. It's better to get a hold of it before it becomes a problem, and you can get it taken care of without having to do all the things that you wouldn't have had to have done if you would have just did the screening. And, with just our little imaging area here in Jackson, we do MRI, we do CAT scan, we do X-ray, we do ultrasound, we do DEXA scans. We do nuclear medicine. There's a lot of things that we do.
That sounds fancy.
There's a lot of things that we do here in this small town that people don't even realize we do. You don't have to drive far to get it done. You can get it done right close to home. You don't have to drive an hour, 2 hours. We can do it right here.
And I think that's a very important thing that you just pointed out is that you may not know that something's offered, but call. What is it? What's the number? The main number? 1-855-4 Holzer. If you have any questions, just call.
Yeah, or you can call me. I'm there most of the time, not all the time, but
call
we have
Tammy.
We have a CT tech, X-ray tech at Holzer Hospital 24/7.
Okay.
I mean, we cover the emergency room 24/7.
Okay.
There's always CT and X-ray. We have ultrasound on call, but there's always somebody there.
Yeah, so again, you can depend on our friends at Holzer for taking care of all of your needs and that way you don't have to go so far. So again, if you have, let's go over this criteria. If you're between 50 and 80 years old, if you're a current smoker with a history of smoking 20 pack
years, it's confusing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Or an ex-smoker who has quit within the past 15 years, you qualify for this low-dose CT screen and you should do it.
Yes.
Everybody
And if
should do
anyone
it.
has any questions, they can call Nicole.
Yes.
Nicole will answer all your questions.
Yep, Nicole, and she's the program coordinator,
Yes.
740-441-3905.
Yes.
And why wouldn't you do this for peace of mind? And I get it. The anxiety of finding something out. But again, if there's something there, it's not going to magically disappear.
Right. It's just going to keep growing.
So I know that we all like to live in blissful ignorance. We do, as human beings. Sometimes you say, I just don't want to know. But you kind of have to know. So.
Well, my mom had a mammogram done in just a routine screening, and she's always had them done. And then this past November, I believe it was November, they found it was smaller than this.
Yeah.
And they had to cut it out, and she had to have radiation and everything just for the small speck.
Little tiny
So
thing.
had she waited, it would have become way too far along, and there would have been nothing they could do other than to remove her whole breast. So I know we're not talking about breast cancer and mammos, but screening of your lung is the same thing. If you just have a small area that they can catch, it's better than if it grows and it attaches to something, inside your chest, and then your prognosis is different.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So early detection is key,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what it is.
Yes.
And that goes for we are coming up, believe it or not, I can't believe this, into October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so again, you need to be thinking about all this stuff. So, all right. Well, Tammy, okay. So I think I know what you're going to say, but I do ask everyone, what is your favorite? She looks scared. What is your favorite part about working at Holzer?
My favorite part about working at Holzer is I love to take care of people, and I love working close to home and taking care of my community.
There you go.
And I've done this a long time, and everyone's like, how do you do the same job for that long? Because it doesn't feel like a job to me. I love taking care of people. I do it even when I'm not at work. So, it's like I was born to take care of others. And, if I can do that right in my community, why wouldn't I want to work at Holzer? And Holzer has been there for me through thick and thin for a lot of things with my medical health myself. So I just, anyone who knows me knows that I just love to take care of others. That's the answer.
There you go. And she likes to do it right here. And that's the main thing. So
yes.
Very, very good. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for
You're
hanging
very
out
welcome.
with us this morning. And we have learned quite a bit. And again, if you fall within this criteria, please call Holzer, get set up for the screening. And there's no excuses because there's financial assistance available as well. So let's not go down the path of I can't afford it or whatever. So, because Tammy will find you.
I will find you.
She will find you. So, all right. Well, we'll let you get out of here and get back to work because there's people that need you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mason. And Jeremiah just walked in the door, so I think we're going to do some news.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who
Something wrong with your camera.
I know.
You got black line.
I know. Okay. So, all right. So we let Tammy get out of here, and Jeremiah's going to do some news in just a second. But if you're wondering about what the weather forecast looks like, we actually have some rain, which who gets excited about rain except for all of us that have been living through this drought for so long. And the good news is look at those temperatures where it is only in the high 70s to low 80s all week long. Little chance of rain every day. It looks like rain outside right now. Is it raining yet, or is it?
I don't know.
You don't have a window in your
Don't
office.
have a window in the office. The only time I can hear the rain and it falls really hard on the roof.
It
Us being
does.
in the old Walmart building,
You can take the weather down now.
you can hear it, but
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. So I see you're here. You walked in physically walked in.
Yes.
You sat down in a chair. So what? You survived the Apple Festival.
Survived the Apple Festival.
We all did.
Yeah. Trying to think of where to start. I guess we'll start with Friday evening, Jen. So Friday evening,
There was a bit of a debacle.
The headliner, Mark Wills, didn't show up at the 83rd annual Jackson Apple Festival.
Oopsie.
His bus broke down.
Yeah.
In Louisville, Kentucky, about a little over 3 hours away from here. And he even put a video out apologizing that he wouldn't be at the festival. That the motor
So
in his
crazy.
bus or the engine in his bus just bit the dust. And
Oopsie.
he said that maybe sometime in the future he'll make his way to the Apple Festival. So anyway, they scrambled and they were able to kind of salvage it. I talked to Jackson Apple Festival president Brandon Davis, and they were able to get Shane Runyon. I think he's a local boy from Portsmouth. He was kind of the opener, and then you had up and coming Nashville recording artist Tyler Booth.
Yes.
Was the headliner on Friday, and then prior to both of them, you had local musician Gary Everett entertaining the crowd. Gary always does a great job, great voice, and that was kind of the what happened there Friday night at the festival.
And that's disappointing when you hear that the person that you've been looking forward to seeing is stuck in Louisville. But the fact that they were able to scramble and find somebody to come and save the day is just unbelievable to me. How quickly they had to do that and how quickly it was accomplished.
Right. Yeah. I was very surprised how quick turnaround because they kind of put it out. It was late afternoon.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, this is what we got lined up." So kudos to them to getting that turned around as quickly as they did. So moving into Saturday. Saturday is always the big finale for the festival.
Oh man, is it ever?
And I was out Saturday morning covering some of the usual that I do. The big thing I always cover Saturday morning is your Little Miss Apple Festival Queen contest. This is your top 10. So back in March they have a bigger contest that's held at Jackson Memorial Auditorium, or not Jackson Memorial, excuse me, at the Jackson Middle School. They're in their auditorium in there, and they always narrow it down from like a large pool of girls down to a top
of little girls.
Yeah, down to the top 10, which takes several hours. And then they have a top 10 contest on the final day of the festival to name a queen.
Which it has changed. It used to be on the Wednesday of the festival. And
it was on
years
Wednesday.
ago they changed it.
A few years ago they did change it. Somebody was
Saturday.
asking me what year they changed that, and I can't remember. I've covered it for so long.
Oh gosh.
I'd have to go back and look to see when that transition happened.
4 or 5 years ago, I would say.
Yeah. I like how the transition's now on Saturday because the little girl gets to actually serve through the whole week.
Yeah.
Versus
You don't-
flip flopping.
Yeah.
I mean, but they always kind of kept the other girl around through the end of the
It was
festival.
just kind of awkward.
So you had like two little misses running around
Yeah.
instead of the one. So that was a little different. So a little bit about that. They had that contest on the General Mills main stage there, and those young ladies come out and got to compete. And we can I'm gonna go through the names of the top 10.
Okay.
Try not to butcher them. Demi,
I'll help you.
Demi
if need
Wheatley,
be.
Blakely Morrow, Olivia Eberts, Emma Dunn, Aubrey Rose, Brudlin Trent, Morgan Murphy, Madison Murphy, which are twins, Arissa Wickoff, and Charlie Ray were the top 10 finalists. And each finalist, they went through a series of questions, got to introduce themselves. There was like a fishbowl. Well, I guess they had maybe there was a fishbowl. And
Yeah, because I think each little girl
they get a fishbowl.
writes a question.
Yes, yeah. So that was the fishbowl, and then usually the little miss asks like a final
one
question.
yeah.
And they had a very short intermission. I was surprised how quickly turnaround was. I live streamed it. That's available on the different social media platforms. You can watch it. And I was setting up they always do the Hog Wild contest afterwards, and then they come back to the crowning. Well, they started coming on the stage to do the crowning, and I was not ready.
You're like, no.
I had stuff set up. My little thing said, hog wire contest, not crowning. I was not ready. So here is the crowning photo of your little miss. That is Emma Dunn. And she's the daughter of Mark and Carly Dunn of Oak Hill, and she was crowned as your 2024 Little Miss Apple Festival Queen. And you can see your 2023 Queen there, Hattie Sculberry crowning her with help from the Queen. So in this picture here in the front row, that is your 2023 Little Miss Apple Festival Queen. That's Hattie Sculberry. And the next to her, that is your 2024 Jackson Apple Festival. That's your Little Miss Queen. That's Emma Dunn. And then in the back from the left, that is your first attendant for 2024. That is Macy Swan. And then in the center, that is Queen Isabella Lunsford. Yeah. And then on the far right there, that is your second attendant, Alexia Butcher.
Yep.
And
it's interesting. The big queen and the little queen now are both from Oak Hill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And, like we was talking about that anniversary queen who was celebrating 50 years. She was crowned in 1974. She was also from Oak Hill.
Yes.
So that was kind of neat to see there.
Kind of wild.
Yeah. So now that Dunn has been crowned, she will serve as Little Miss through the end of the 2025 Apple Festival. So that will be her reign. So we'll have a story with some pictures, hopefully on Wednesday's edition of the Telegram.
They're all so cute. I don't know how they pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want the job of judge for the little girls there. I think that would be hard. So like I was saying there, right after Little Miss, the thing that they always do is the Jackson Vinton Farm Bureau's Hog Wild. And it's a fundraiser. And you can go ahead and throw the photo up. This is your winners. And I might have to apologize because I haven't had a second yet this morning to go through the names of the people that are holding the pigs. But I can tell you about the pigs.
Okay.
So your top hog of Jackson County for 2024 went to, drumroll, it was Happening Baristos hog named Pig Quest.
Okay.
And that's who's there on the far left. That's one of the representatives from Happenings. And they claimed the title of top hog. That hog collected $676.31 during the course of the fundraiser.
Wow.
Because they do like a part one and then they do a part two.
Yep.
And altogether, that was the amount they raised. So they got top hog.
Gotcha.
And then next, that is, let me find it here. That is your Facebook likes winner. That's Davis Veterinary Services. Hog name Miss Apple Blossom.
That was such a cool one.
It was really neat with the fur.
Like the Highlander.
It had like the horns.
Like the Scottish Highlander cow.
They had 242 likes.
Nice.
On their Facebook picture through that contest. And then up next was Southern Ohio Smiles hog named Pork and Pop.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny.
Like popcorn.
It's covered in popcorn, and it's a pig. So Pork and Pop was very suitable there. They won. It was most creative original hog award.
Love that.
And then there on the far right, that is Piggy Rose. That's the Jackson County Baking Center, and they won People's Choice Award.
Cool.
So that was your top 4 winners from the, which were a part of the top 15. We here at Total Media, our hog ham radio had made it into the top 15 this year, but wasn't lucky enough to get into that final 4. But
our
it's always
Sixth Sense pig made it too.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, they're just so there was 40 businesses that participated this year in that Hog Wild event.
Can you say our pig's name?
Go ahead.
I was just wondering.
I don't have a list. It
was King Glizzy the Fizzy Wizzy. You got that? Say that 5 times
King
fast.
Gizzy Wizzy Fizzy.
King Glizzy the Fizzy Wizzy.
Is that named after like a beer?
So Glizzy, I guess, I don't know. Somehow Glizzy has something to do with pork. I don't know. And then Fizzy, obviously the beer, and he was a wizard. So the Fizzy Wizzy.
Fizzy Wizard. Yeah. Gotcha.
Fizzy Wizzy.
Okay. There you go.
I didn't name him. The staff did.
Staff did.
I will just go with that.
All right. So overall, the Hog Wild fundraiser, celebrated another record-breaking year.
Love
They
that.
generated nearly
That's
$6,000
awesome.
towards. She said they were doing 7 local scholarships this year.
Thank you to everybody that
So,
participated,
it's
and that's the
pretty-
whole thing.
Yeah, pretty exciting. They said last year they did 6,
Yep.
and this year, because of the amount of money they generated, they were able to do. They're going to be able to do 7.
That's awesome.
So that's
Thank you,
great for them.
community.
Trying to think of what other pictures we had. The big thing that always wraps up Saturday for everybody, that brings everybody into town, is that grand finale parade.
Of
Jen.
course.
We have a couple pictures that I took, but I wasn't working. So this is not the parade, but this is a shot of the crowd
Holy moly.
that I snapped on the way to find my seat on the
Dude.
parade route. For probably the first time in 13 years, Jen, I didn't have to cover the parade Saturday night.
Wait, you didn't?
No, I didn't have to do pictures. I didn't have to do video. I got to actually
What did you do with
I
yourself?
sat with the family on their spot, which is near the start of the parade, and
Yeah.
actually got to sit and watch and
What?
take pictures of my little guy watching the bands go by.
Oh, how
And
fun.
yeah, so that was really fun, and it was funny because there towards the start, a lot of people I was waving. I was like, "Hey," and they would see me and saw that I didn't have a camera in hand.
They're like,
They
"What's
would
he
stop.
doing?"
They would stop and they'd say, "Jeremiah, what are you doing? Where's your camera?" And I said, "I got the night off." And they looked at me, they're like, "You're kidding."
What?
So
Since
that was
when?
yeah, so that was kind of funny. But here's a couple shots that I got. And this shot here, it's kind of hard to see, but Tony Cavalier from WSAZ's there on the sideline in the crowd taking some
Oh, yep, I see
video of
him
the
there.
parade
Yep.
going by. So this was the Boy Scouts walking by. And I had another shot that I took of the Apple Man, aka that's John Ross in the Apple Man.
Uh-huh.
He took over that outfit, Jen, in 2015 during the 75th anniversary, which was
Man.
one of those golden
Of
year or
course.
silver year, whatever you want to call them, anniversary years. And he has wore that outfit. And I'm pretty sure Brad Burnside there, who's also a part of the Jackson
Yes.
Apple Festival, has been like his handler, helping him through the festival every year since, except for COVID year,
Yep.
obviously. But I told John when I saw him, because I got a picture of him earlier in the week with him. I told him, I said, you realize you've almost done this for a decade now, wearing this costume. He goes, "Have I really?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "A couple more years." I said, "You will have done it for
That's awesome.
10 years already." But he so Everett Ward,
Yes.
he passed away in 2015. It was like February, I think, of 2015. Everybody knew Everett as Mr. King Apple.
Yes.
He had a paper mache apple
Yep.
head and always rode in the parade. Did it for over, I was like 20,
Oh,
30
gosh.
years, something. It was a long time. And when he passed, they didn't want to, they wanted to continue the tradition, but they didn't want to use Everett's stuff. So that stuff was retired.
Sure.
And they spent the money to
Got the Apple
have
Man.
their Apple Man,
Yeah.
which they have all this artwork of the Apple Man. I don't know who did the work to make the costume, but by gosh, it looks fantastic.
It looks awesome.
Looks great.
Yeah, Everett
Um,
had so many hats that he wore. Like, for example, any horse show that was done here locally, he announced all the horse shows. So I knew him from the time I was a little itty bitty girl, showing horses, and then he started the Apple Man thing, and
Yeah.
and it was just, it was
And a
really
lot of
fun.
people remember him for being a
And
greeter,
greeter
at
Walmart, yeah,
yeah, back when they still had the
Yeah.
greeters. So
Yep.
yeah, he was a real nice fella.
Yep.
So another shot I think I had. So I took this Sunday afternoon. Jackson Fire Department out hosing the streets off.
Oh
Jen.
yeah,
So this is what is that? Pearl? Yeah, Pearl.
Pearl in Portsmouth.
Yeah, Pearl and Portsmouth
Well,
there.
Pearl-
near
yeah.
yeah, just down from the intersection of Pearl and
It's kind
Portsmouth.
of right there in front of the utility office.
Yep. They were out hosing down the streets, and I walked down and grabbed this photo. I will say, when I took this photo on Pearl Street, Main Street, I should have walked up and got a picture of it, but we were off heading somewhere, so I didn't stop very long. But Main Street looked like a landfill, Jen. Just trash from
Gosh, that's
Portsmouth all the way down to Harding. It was just like
unbelievable.
you can see the city street sweeper out there trying to sweep, and they were like trying to gather all the trash up.
It
But
was interesting because, number one, the fact that those, so Jamie and I ended up having to go, or we went up toward Lancaster yesterday. So we drove up through Chillicothe and that way. And So somehow we got behind basically all the rides
Oh,
and the,
oh,
whatever.
heading out, yeah.
But so it was like fun to pass them all. But and why I say that is it's amazing that you can look on the this trailer and there's this ride that's so big and what you just saw it going on Saturday and it's all folded up like a transformer
Yeah,
on the
that's
back
neat.
of these little trailers and they're driving them down the highway and you're like how does that like I passed the strawberries and they were all just like on these things
Yeah,
they were kind of bobbing along
right.
and I'm like oh my gosh how does that fold up to that
Right. It's interesting to see all that get, how it travels. So I seen some of that.
Absolutely.
I seen some of that at Sunday as well. So,
yeah it's really kind of cool
but
to see
we're as I like to say, I'm always happy to see it come, and I'm always happy to see it go. So
yeah I know the Apple Festival is so bittersweet because if you do have to work there
yeah,
or
I usually
or
have to
down
work,
in
so
it
it's not as
it's
fun for me. But
sometimes an inconvenience, but it's also so much fun to go down, A, to see people that you don't normally see, and B, you have access to all this fun food.
oh
And
my gosh, Jen, I
I mean, I've
ate
never
too
been so
much.
sick in my life as I was the one day. We all
Oh
went
my
down there
gosh.
and got like a bunch of food and split it. Oh,
This was probably the first. Like I said, this was
oh
my
my gosh.
13th festival. Because I originally got hired the week before Apple Festival, and my original editor Jennifer Hughes.
Yes.
She's no longer in the paper business. She works for Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier
Yes.
now. She was like, gave me a camera and a notepad and was like, "Good luck, kid." It just set me up
Have
there.
at it,
But
buddy.
I'd never been really. I didn't really remember the festival. I hadn't really been up there, But this year was probably the most outside of covering stuff. Actually, going back up with the family
Yeah.
that
Got to enjoy
I
it.
got to enjoy it a little
yeah,
bit
that's
this week.
good.
I know we went up. We usually always go up and walk through Monday evening just to see where everything is and how everything's looking. And then we was up there a little bit Thursday and a little bit Friday, and then we was up there Saturday. But it was a lot of fun. But you was talking about food. I probably ate more this
Oh
week
my
at the
gosh.
Apple Festival than I have ever
Oh.
eaten up there. Because I started the week off on Monday with a fish sandwich
Uh-huh.
from over at the Farmer Sportsman. And then I was up there, I think Wednesday for the parade, and I ended up I had like a Chick-fil-A sandwich from the Southview booth.
Uh-huh.
And then we were up there. It must have been Friday night. I think it was Friday night. I had a tenderloin, one of those big tenderloin sandwiches.
The Texas tenderloin.
Yeah, and then Saturday afternoon, I was up there so long because of all the stuff that happened. And then I did some additional videos, which are available on my page for people to watch.
Okay.
I went through like all the booths, talked to every single
Oh,
person at
that's
the
awesome.
booth, went through the craft show, went through the art exhibit at the Marquee. Had gone down to do the quilt show, but it was already done for the day by the
Oh,
time I got
shoot.
down there. I even took a turn stirring apple butter, talked to Larry Johnson, the Victory
Nice.
Grange Master. All those videos are available on my page. But while I was there, I had a Jackson Countyville from the Buckeye Hills booth. And then for dinner Saturday, I had a different sandwich. I had one of the baked steak sandwiches from the Elks, which I had never had that one before.
Oh, they're good.
But it was fantastic.
Yeah, they're so
Kara
good.
had one earlier in the week. My wife Kara, she let me try a bite of it, and I was like, "Man, that's good. I'd never had it
yeah,
before."
they're really good.
So I had to like put that in the rotation of stuff to try. But anyhow,
Yeah, and it's funny when you have limited time up there and you have to squeeze all the food in all at one
Yeah.
time. Sometimes the old belly doesn't
right.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So in addition to all the sandwiches, I got my jar of apple butter
Yep.
from the Victory Grange there. I've had that a few times this past week. And then one thing that I did get this year that I haven't gotten years past is I got those little fried mini donuts with powdered sugar.
Oh, yep.
So, and I think that wrapped up what I had up there. But
They have a booth down there at the Apple Festival, and I had heard about it, and then Jamie and I ended up walking by it one day. We were walking through there. They have basically deep fried everything, and it's down kind of in front of PNC Bank there. But
okay.
they have someone had told me about it, and I didn't stop and get any, but they have deep fried Nutter Butters.
Oh, that's
like
different.
cookies,
Yeah.
and like anything
As I
you
say, I
can
got some
think
of those
of.
in the cabinet at the house. Not deep fried though.
So I was
Wonder
like,
how
man,
that.
that sounds good.
Wonder how that would taste.
I love Nutter Butters anyway. They're like one of my favorites. So
Very
yeah.
good. Well, we're happy to have it put away. I came in, or I got here about 7 this morning. I wanted to get here way sooner, but I fell back asleep, Jen.
Well,
And
understandably so.
yeah, it's always a long week, and we're starting to write an overview story for Wednesday's edition. We'll have that Little Miss, Hog Wild, some other coverage from the festival to kind of wrap that up and put
Sure.
it to bed.
It's lots of fun.
Couple things this week I wanted to mention that's coming up. Something happened tonight for those folks up in the city of Wellston. There's going to be a town hall meeting scheduled. They're going to be discussing the proposed Louis Theater renovations.
Oh, okay.
And
that's awesome.
They're trying to get another grant for that. It's called an AMLR grant, and they want the public to attend the meeting tonight, 6 p.m. at the Wellston City Council chambers in the Wellston City Building. And those council chambers, if you've never been in the city building, they're on the second floor, so you can take an elevator or there are stairs that you can get up to the second floor. But the city officials are, also seeking the public to send in letters of support for the project. And these letters need to be received by end of the day on Wednesday, September 25th. Letters can be emailed. It's meisnagel at cityofwellston.org. You can hand deliver those to the mayor's office. It says you can mail them, but I don't know if you mail them if they would be there by Wednesday.
Yeah.
But they're hoping to get some attendance there and some folks to do letters of support. And, the city, I'll probably talk more about this tomorrow because I don't know if Pete's touched on it or not. But has he been in and talked about the city is going to do some renovations to the Louis because they got $1.5 million from the capital budget.
We talked about it a while back.
Okay,
but
well,
not recently.
we got some new information.
Okay.
Ohio House Speaker Jason Stevens was in the county, not this last week, but the week before, and had visited the Louis and the Jackson Memorial Building.
Awesome.
Which had also gotten money from the capital budget. Right. And he got to tour both of those, and we kind of got to learn a little more about what they plan to do with those buildings. So maybe tomorrow I can talk a little more about the Louis, and then we can talk about the Memorial
It needs
Building.
A roof.
Yeah, that's the big thing over there.
It needs a lid.
It is without a roof, and the Mayor Brenner, Anthony Brenner, said that money will go a long way in putting a roof back on that theater, and he's hoping to get doors and just kind of get the building, because it's, according to him, the last time they had it surveyed or whatever, it's structurally sound.
Yeah,
and
it just kind of needs a.
It just
top.
needs a top and doors, and I don't know if they'll do windows or what, but they're hoping to get it all. I would hope they would hopefully do it before winter, get it under roof before winter.
That would be a good thing. Yeah.
I don't know, how money is sometimes from the state. I don't know how quickly they'll get that money. But they were approved. It was like back in June it was announced for that funding. So hopefully it'll trickle in and get it bid out and everything. But I think this is to get additional funds to be able to do the work inside the building, would be my guess, just based on me covering that.
Sure.
So another little reminder for a meeting this week. The Oak Hill Board of Education typically meets the third Wednesday of the month. Okay, they moved it because it was Apple Festival. And so it's this week.
Gotcha.
It'll be this week at the Oak Hill Union Local School District Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, September 25th at 5:30 p.m. And they hold those meetings at the Oak Hill Middle High School Library. And the meetings are open to the public, so you can come and sit and watch them do business.
Okay.
And they do have an opportunity at the beginning if you'd want to speak about anything. You got to sign up, and they have a public participation point in the meeting that you can do.
Jackson Council tonight too, right?
Yeah, Jackson City Council tonight at 7:00 at the city building, and I believe those are always the second and fourth Monday of the month. I feel like.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, this is the fourth Monday of the month. Getting into that last week. Yesterday was first day.
October.
I know. Yesterday was the first day of fall. We're getting into October. I joked with the wife, here in a week or two, I'll probably be getting the lighter and the Christmas lights out.
I know.
Because
it's crazy.
I usually in October I get out what's still decent.
You want to do it while the
and
weather's
hang,
decent.
I get everything hung up. I don't turn them on, right away, but I like to get it all done. That way I don't have to do it, in freezing.
Hey, it's
temperatures.
Ohio. Who knows?
So-
I can remember Thanksgivings where I've had on shorts, and I can remember Thanksgivings where it's been snowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember apple festivals where
being
it snowed.
Cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I just had to see. That's Ohio weather for you.
It is.
So all right. So that's kind of a little rundown of the last part of the Apple Festival there. Like I said, we should have much of coverage in Wednesday's edition. Kind of put that to bed, and before you know it, like you said, we'll be getting into October, into spooky season.
Yep.
Several things go on in October. You always get that pumpkin walk down in Oak Hill, Chamber of Commerce. They've announced that. So that'll be happening. And as always, you always have trick or treat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's on Halloween again this year.
Very good.
So
that's right. Do it on Halloween. That was my big beef for a while. They started doing them all on Sundays. I'm like, Sunday afternoon, that's like kissing your sister. Like, no.
Yeah, that's fun. You got to go out on Halloween and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's got to be nighttime where you're scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Making wusses out of these kids, I tell you.
Right.
All right. Well, Jeremiah, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. I think Pete's on a little bit of a vacay, and he's doing something really, really cool, and I'm excited to hear.
You'll have to have him in to talk about it.
Yeah, he's it's kind of bittersweet, but it's a trip basically that goes to all of the 9/11 memorial sites, and so they're doing kind of that whole circle, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, he should be back later in the week. Maybe you can get him to pop in to talk about it.
Yeah, I would love that, and I think it would be interesting to see what his take on it is. So, all right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be right back here tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, The Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.